Guys, Tesla sales in China surprisingly good in the month of May. I have to admit, I did not expect this. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching The Electric Viking. It's great to see you. Now, apparently there's, thousands and thousands of cars gathering dust in Tesla's graveyards in China, in Australia, in Germany, in America. Now, I think this is all a little bit overblown, guys. I'm sure there is some. I believe there is some, when they say where there's smoke, there's fire. There's probably a little bit of fire, but I don't think it's quite as bad as what people are saying, especially when you look at the prices of Tesla's vehicles. I mean, holy smokes, I don't know how competitors are actually competing on price with Tesla in places like, the US or even Australia, now Germany as well. 39,000 euros for a Tesla Model Y in Germany. That's crazy. Anyhow, Tesla in China, totally different story, guys. There is at least 15 different models that are similarly sized to a Tesla Model Y, that are electric cars, that have similar range, similar charging speeds, not quite the level of software, but other than that, they're all cheaper. Every single one of them. This is probably, 77 different BYD vehicles in that category. It's not really, I'm exaggerating, but there's a lot of different BYD models. And they're pretty much all cheaper than Tesla Model 3 or Tesla's Model Y. So for that reason, I am a little surprised to see Tesla doing so well. 55,000 cars, Teslas, were sold in China in May. That's up 76% from April. Tesla saw its sales in China rise significantly in May as it dedicated more capacity at its Shanghai plant to local deliveries and focused on promoting its cars on social media and through things like interest-free deals. Tesla China sold 72,573 vehicles in May worldwide, including 17,360 for export. The rest of them, of course, like I said, were sold in China. So more than 55,000 cars were sold by Tesla in China. This means that they actually increased their deliveries on May last year by 30%. Last year, they sold 42,500 vehicles. So that's a pretty damn good increase. And Tesla appears to be having not a bad year in China at all. I think a lot of the pessimism could be potentially a little bit unfounded here, guys. Now, of course, the Chinese Tesla Model Y is better than the export version, which is bizarre. I don't understand that strategy, in my opinion, does not make sense. I don't get it. I've thought about it numerous times and it's racking my brains thinking, what are they doing this for? Anyway, the Tesla Model Y in China, that Tesla delivers to locals in China, has more range. It has the upgraded interior lighting like what's in the Model 3. It's got a few other changes. I believe it's got different wheels. The interior looks nicer. There's a few changes. I don't remember exactly what they were, but I've done a few videos on it. And anyway, the Model Y in China, it's a better car. Oh, that's right. The standard range model, the most popular model, the Tesla Model Y standard range, that one has 100 horsepower more than the export version. Go figure. Truly bizarre. Anyway, intriguingly though, the flip side of all this, guys, is that whilst Tesla sales in China were very good, their exports were down 50%. From 35,000 a year earlier and down 43% from 30,746 in April. So, it all kind of evens out. Tesla sales from their Chinese factory worldwide are a little bit down on last year, but not significantly. It's actually only by a couple of percent. Now, Tesla has a factory in Shanghai. It makes the Model 3 and the Model Y. Both those vehicles are imported worldwide. Of course, the Model 3 is imported and sold in Europe. It's sold in Australia. It's sold in many Middle Eastern countries, Southeast Asia. The Model Y is as well, but of course, the Model Y is not sold in Europe because Europe gets the Germany-made Model Y. So Tesla's, what their strategy is, normally they will produce cars for export in the first half of the quarter and for the local Chinese market in the second half. But that's not always the case. It's usually the case, not always. Now, speaking of Tesla Model Y monthly sales, including for exports, Tesla's China May sales, including exports of the Model Y, were 45,360. That contributed 62.5% of sales. That's down 10% from a year ago. So not too bad. I mean, It's up 42% from April. So good growth versus April, but compared to last year, down 10%. Now getting to the Model 3. Model 3 sales, including exports, were 27,214, contributing 37.5% of Tesla China's May sales. And what that means is that this was unchanged from the same period last year. Last year, the number was bizarrely close, right? 27,215 last year versus 27,214 this year. So the difference of a single car. Now, in April, sales were actually up from that. So they were 10% lower. Anyway, Tesla Model 3 is actually selling better in the first 5 months of this year versus the first 5 months of last year. That makes sense. It's a new model. It's much, much nicer than the old version. But, I still personally did think the Model 3 would get even more sales than what it currently is. So let's wait and see if that happens. I know that there's massive waiting lists for the Model 3 Ludicrous, the performance version of the Model 3. But there are other cars now that compete with that. The BYD Seal Performance is much cheaper than the Model 3 Ludicrous. Not quite as fast, but much cheaper. So Tesla will have some competition even for the Model 3 Ludicrous. Thanks for watching.